She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
It's like in a state of shock.
That they must travel to Beijing if they want to face time with the Chinese leader.
Prohibiting from doing the key thing that U.S. regulators want them to do, which is turn over audit information.
Why Trump slapped high tariffs on countries like Vietnam. Imagine waking up and finding out the global markets have lost $10 trillion. Yep, trillion with a T. And at the center of this financial firestorm, you guessed it, Donald Trump. His latest policy bombshell didn't just shake Wall Street, it sent shockwaves through Europe, panicked China, and turned global finance into an all-out chess match. So how did one move from Trump trigger the biggest market meltdown in years? And more importantly, how are the EU and China striking back? Buckle up, because this isn't just economics. This is high-stakes drama, global power plays, and a trillion-dollar storm with no signs of slowing. Let's set the stage. One press conference, one statement, one Trump-sized shock to the system. In what analysts are calling a black swan on steroids, Donald Trump announced sweeping financial sanctions targeting Chinese and EU investment firms operating in the U.S., and hinted at potentially delisting major Chinese companies from American stock exchanges. The markets responded like someone had pulled the fire alarm in the middle of a cocktail party. $10 trillion wiped out. Just like that, stocks nosedived, commodities collapsed, crypto flatlined. Even safe haven assets like gold and treasury bonds went on a roller coaster. It wasn't just a dip, it was a global panic. Now, if you know Trump, you know he's no stranger to controversial economic moves. But this one hit a nerve. Because it wasn't just about China, it wasn't just about punishing foreign competition. It was about disrupting the very system that keeps global markets glued together. So what exactly did he do? Trump's move was a mix of sanctions, investment restrictions, and regulatory crackdowns, targeting foreign-owned assets in U.S. tech, real estate, and energy sectors. And the message was loud and clear: America First is back, and it's bigger than ever. But here's where it gets even messier. Within hours, European leaders were on the phones, scrambling for emergency meetings. The EU, feeling caught in the crossfire, accused the U.S. of destabilizing the global economic order. Germany called it reckless. France called it economic warfare. Italy just called their banks and asked if they were still solvent. China, meanwhile, didn't even blink. They responded in classic fashion, calm on the surface, volcanic underneath. Beijing immediately froze all new U.S. investments, hinted at counter-sanctions, and ordered state-owned companies to accelerate de-dollarization. A fancy way of saying, let's stop using the U.S. dollar before it takes us down with it. But that's not all. Behind the scenes, Chinese tech giants like Alibaba, Tencent, and Huawei are now preparing for what they call decoupling warfare. Think fire drills for financial apocalypse, moving their assets, building parallel infrastructure, and ramping up trade with friendly nations. So now you have a domino effect. U.S. investors pull out of China, China blocks U.S. investments, European banks cut ties with risky American holdings, global supply chains begin to shudder, and the global economy starts to feel like a Jenga tower after a Red Bull. Let's talk about the EU's counter moves. The European Union wasted no time. In just 48 hours, Brussels unveiled a surprise stimulus plan, hundreds of billions of euros to stabilize markets, protect banks, and boost European industries hurt by the crash. But that's not all. They also proposed a unified digital currency framework, fast-tracking a central bank digital euro that could rival the US dollar in global trade. And guess who they're inviting to join the party? That's right, China. It's like watching two classmates who didn't really get along suddenly team up against the class bully. The EU and China may not agree on everything, but when Trump shakes the financial tree, they start looking like best friends at a shared ATM. Back in the US, things aren't exactly calm either. The Federal Reserve is holding emergency sessions. The Treasury Secretary is on every news channel offering calm reassurances while quietly Googling how to stop a global panic. And Wall Street? Well, it's having what polite economists call a correction and what most traders are calling pure chaos. But what was Trump's endgame? That's the golden question. Some analysts believe it's a strategic shock, a bold, risky move to force China and Europe into renegotiating global trade terms on American turf. Trump's always been a fan of the scare-him-into-a-deal approach. Others think it's a power play for re-election, reminding his base that he's the only one willing to play hardball with foreign powers and clean up the swamp of foreign influence in American finance. But critics, oh, they're having a field day. Democrats, global leaders, financial watchdogs, everyone's pointing fingers. Trump is playing with dynamite, one EU official said, and we're all sitting in the same room. Now let's talk about ripple effects. Oil prices plunged. Why? Because the moment the global economy trembles, people drive less, ship less, and panic more. Tech companies are in free fall, especially those with overseas supply chains. Tesla's stocks down, Apple down. Even Amazon, which somehow survived a pandemic, is sweating. Meanwhile, small investors, your average everyday folks, are watching their 401ks shrink faster than a snowman in July. And all they want to know is, when will this stop? Spoiler alert, it won't. Not anytime soon, because the real story isn't just the crash, it's the shift, the global power shift. Trump's move might have triggered the chaos, but now countries are rethinking everything. How they trade, how they invest, and how much power the U.S. really has over the financial world. The dollar? Still dominant, but not invincible. The U.S. stock market's still massive, but no longer untouchable. And the rest of the world? Watching, reacting, evolving. This is more than a market crash. It's the beginning of a new economic era, one where alliances are redrawn, currencies are digitized, and tech giants may answer not to Washington, but to Beijing or Brussels. So here we are, $10 trillion gone, global markets reeling, and the world watching America like a poker player with a twitchy eye. Trump made his move. The question now isn't, will there be consequences? Because we're already feeling them. The real question is, who's going to outplay who in the end? China's getting crafty, Europe's getting unified. And the US? Well, it's trying to decide whether it just made the boldest power move of the decade or the costliest mistake in modern history. One thing's for sure, this isn't just a market correction, it's a geopolitical reset. And the game has only just begun. Stay sharp, stay tuned, and don't trust your stock app's green numbers too fast. This roller coaster far from over.